breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey.
You got it locked.
Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to Radio Generation. My name is Mungana Mbuvi, and the conversation still goes on right here. The conversation actually this morning was very fiery. It was very hot with Jeremiah Kioni, the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. But this particular morning, I have another guest, and the conversation is going to be a bit different. So allow me to introduce him. And by the way, if you've not tuned in to 88.8 in Nairobi, umewachwa nyuma tena sana. So please do tune in. In Mombasa as well, it's 90.7. Malindi, it's 92.1, and Lamu 92.6. Garissa, we've always been on 89.5. But I always say that internationally we are recognized on rgk.co.ke. With me in studio is of course my co-host Patricia Wayua, but also we do have Dr. Reuben Kigame, who's been a presidential aspirant and is still aspiring to be the president of this country. So allow me to introduce him. Mheshimiwa, karibu tena sana to our radio station.
Asante sana. I prefer Mtumishi than Mheshimiwa. That name has been insulted.
It has been misused.
Absolutely.
All right. So Mtumishi,
Nsawa.
Karibu tena sana.
Nashukuru.
All right. So let's get down to business. This country right now is really going through a lot,
right,
and it has gone through phases over and over for the last couple of months. Actually, since last year in July, we have seen a lot of these things happening. First of all, what is your opinion on the Gen Z voice and just generally the voice of the people that is being heard as it is being heard in the way rather it's being heard?
Thank you. So first of all, Gen Zs are what you would call my people.
Right.
My kind of people. They talk my language. They want what I want. And so I've been with them on the streets.
Right.
I was with them in Eldoret last year. When they pulled a lot of stuff down in anger. I think everybody was so angry. And then came the storming of Parliament. On that day, I was in Mombasa.
Right. During the protest of last year now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was at the coast with them. So I've been on the streets. I've also been, of course, with other people wanting change, like the medical doctors, the JSS teachers, and
right,
so on. So the doctors, I was with them right here in Nairobi. We marched from KNH to Afya House. I was in Migori with the JSS teachers. So I'm basically saying these are my people. They are saying what I need to say and what I have always been saying. What we want is accountability, integrity, and governance done the right way. That is all. All that you're seeing on the streets, you're hearing on social media, is really people saying the system is wrong.
Right.
Everything is going wrong. It needs to be fixed. And that's what I was saying in the last election when I was running for president,
right,
before I was locked out. Yeah. So if I was to summarize it for you,
yes,
it's that we need a reboot of the software. You know, if you took a computer, for an example,
right,
you need to completely reinstall because we inherited a system from the colonial period that is extractionist. It just, takes from you and robs you, and you just keep saying Mheshimiwa, yes, So we need that reboot of the system, because if we go on this way, what is going to happen is that Kenya is going to implode. When you implode,
right,
you're exploding from the inside. So Kenya is about to, if things don't change, Kenya will certainly implode. And what will happen is that we'll go the way of any other country. Where you saw the Arab Spring and the results, you've seen what has happened in countries like Syria. So when a system collapses, it's very easy for life to be lost. So you lose a lot of people, you lose a lot of property. You saw what
Yes.
happened in Rwanda. And the script is repeating itself here. So you move from, the few that are entitled to wealth at the top, and the majority are being extracted to fund that kind of system. And then you have tribalism. So you have this tribal rhetoric. You have all that. So unless, the system works for the people, you cannot have what we are looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone was arguing, that regardless of whoever was going to be president
Right.
in 2022, whether it was William Ruto or Raila Amolo Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, whoever, even Reuben Kigame, despite whoever was going to be president, they were still going to face these issues that the country is currently facing.
Not at all. And that is
for
where
example,
that- uh-huh.
sorry,
Go
but
ahead,
for
go ahead,
example,
go ahead.
this whole issue of unemployment, that is something that is not going to go away anytime soon.
Right.
Issues to do with just providing the opportunities that the youth are specifically looking for.
Right.
And the president himself, Dr. William Ruto, has insisted that he has done his best, provided with what he had
Yes.
and what he found at that particular point
Yes.
when he took over power. And he says that even when they took over, the country was broke. There was
Right.
nothing in their accounts. So whichever president was going to take over power, bado ungekuwa na hii shida. Do you think that is true?
Absolutely not true. Because you see, for a country to move a particular direction, you've got to ask two questions. What philosophy are you going to utilize to move the country forward?
Okay.
And two, what practical decisions are you going to take in order to turn around the country?
Right.
Now, so Ruto decides he can do the latter without the former. So he's going to move the country forwards using capitalistic extractionism. So you gather your cronies at the top who funded your election, who agree with you, put them in parliament, and then you put up the executive as the answer to everything. Ruto actually believes he knows everything. So he's not listening to anybody. Even his own CS, he's not listening to them.
Right.
Because he knows what he wants, and I will get it this way.
Okay.
You cannot rule a country, you cannot lead a country like that. Because Kenya's problems are multifaceted, and you need professional experts that can undo but also formulate policies that can then get Kenya out of where it is.
Okay.
That can only be achieved through what we call meritocracy. Meritocracy is that you put everybody professional where they ought to be, so you are not doing crony appointments.
All right.
But even more important, and this is the difference between Ruto and I, you check who you are putting in office. If these people have been adversely mentioned, if they are not qualified to run a country, don't put them in office. Because Kenya has a lot of professionals within this country, but also outside the country. A lot of Kenyans building other countries, being given a chance to fix the economy, the education systems, the health sector of other countries. Here, what we are doing is crony appointments, and then instead of giving Kenyans jobs here,
Yes.
we are saying, go look for jobs outside. That is destroying a country. And that's why I was saying the philosophy of someone determines whether the software of that country will change or it will not change.
Right.
So here's the main difference. Let me draft for you the main difference between Ruto and I.
Please do.
So we graduated the same year from university, 1990. He was at University of Nairobi. I was at Kenyatta University.
All right.
He was in agriculture, so scientist. I was in philosophy and going towards history and, current affairs. So he goes the way of YK92. You know, they make money, and you remember the printing of money,
Right.
and buying of votes, all of that for Moi. I go the other direction of multi-party democracy. Okay, so I'm following the Kibwanas, the Raila Senior, Odinga Senior, the Gitobi Manyaras, Matiba. I'm that direction, and into the church voices like Timothy Njoya, Ndingi Mwana Nzeki, the editor Bidan Bugwa. That's the direction I go. He goes the other direction. Okay. So he's a scientist looking at agriculture. I am a philosopher. And like Plato said, I think only philosophers should lead, because you look at the software, you look at the ideas. And so the difference between him and I is mainly this, that he believes that if you have a few moneyed people around you, and if you have a lot of money,
Right.
if you have all these resources, you're very powerful, then you can provide answers to a country.
Okay.
I believe the opposite, that you've got to empower the people.
Right.
So that if I am eating and the people are not eating,
Right.
you will have a problem, because they'll come for you. They'll come for that food.
Okay.
So we've got to all eat. If I can take my children to hospital and my neighbor cannot, the system is wrong. They will actually, the health sector will not work. You've got to think about Kenya as our home. This is the only home we have for everybody living here, and we've got to make Kenya work for everybody. If you don't do that, you will inherit problems. You will constantly be firefighting.
So, Tumishi, if I can just ask you a question in regards to how Kenyans vote, because at the end of the day, at the end of, or rather at the beginning of the election process, we always have, as Kenyans, that is, very many choices. But the choices we make, we end up hating them. And the reason I'm saying this is because even President Kibaki, towards the end of his first term, people had issues with him, but he ended up getting a second term. President Uhuru Kenyatta, people loved him in the first term, and then something happened somewhere in between, and Kenyans, had a lot of, questions in regards to his leadership. Then here comes President Ruto. We'd like to believe that he was voted overwhelmingly by Kenyans, but then again, here we are halfway through his term, and people can literally, from what we are seeing in the streets and in the news, cannot stand him. So is it a voter problem? Do we make the wrong choices from the get-go, or do the choices we have made become wrong in the middle of the process?
Sir, there is only one problem in Kenya. If we fixed that problem,
Right.
it doesn't matter who is in office, Kenya will work right. This is the issue of values, character, values, integrity, accountability. That is all. If we can get that in place, and that's what the Gen Zs are asking for.
Right.
Okay? If we get that correct, it doesn't matter if it is you or her in office.
Yes.
Right. Because the system will work. So let me take the best example for you, and that's the Kibaki government, so that you understand why values mean everything. Kibaki's value system with regard to the constitution, for example, was not solid.
Okay.
Because he never believed in multi-party democracy in the first place. In fact, he's the one who was saying that to have multi-party politics in Kenya is like cutting a mugumo tree with a razor blade. Okay? And shockingly, he got overwhelmingly voted in through multi-party politics.
Right.
So he never believed in it. The other thing Kibaki did not do is keep promises. And as long as you cannot keep promises or commitments, you cannot lead. It will implode. So, for example, when they came to office, of course they had an agreement with the opposition leaders and so on, Akina Raila,
The Rainbow Coalition.
Yes, there was an agreement of how things would run. He dishonored that commitment.
The
And-
MOU.
Yes, and so things imploded. By the time you're going to the 2005 referendum, Kenya has already imploded. That's because you didn't keep promises. Okay? Whatever is happening in Kenya even now, in 2025,
Right.
is because Ruto promised a lot of things. We have sound bites everywhere. Whether you're talking about, no abductions again, whether you're talking about lowering of food prices, or fuel will come down, just a myriad promises.
Yes.
What does he do? He reneges on just about each and every one of them.
Okay.
Now, so when you fail to keep promises, your value system is broken, because the right values demand that if you make promises,
Yes.
you fulfill them or you keep them. Even my own Bible that I read
Yes.
tells me in Ecclesiastes 5, it is better not to promise than to promise and then you don't fulfill.
Okay.
Because God is not interested in
the-
vanity.
Okay.
So the reason why Ruto is earning the name Kaongo is because even children now know that he lies. Now, we don't want a liar in office. If there is one thing that I would tell to Kenyans, because you are appealing to how Kenyans vote.
Yes.
If there's one thing I can appeal to Kenyans with regard to choosing leaders, and it's not just the president, even MCAs, even MPs, look at the character of the person
Okay.
before you put them in office. And I know the middle class is probably one of the most disappointing groups in this country, because they know the consequences. Yeah, they are the ones actually who are suffering the most. Wao ndio wako na madeni, But when it comes to elections, in fact, go to any WhatsApp group
Yes.
full of all these middle classes, nice language, good English, all of this, but they are part of those who change tact when it comes to elections.
Okay.
They begin to look for the pomp. They begin to say, huyu hana pesa, huyu hana, Now, in the countryside, people are looking for services.
Yes.
In the middle class, the people who listen to a station like this,
Yes.
they're looking for the money.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, you'll find somebody, even like I will maybe offer myself
Right.
to fix the value system that we're talking about. Because I'm saying, look at me first, begin with me. And I will surround myself with people that are, value based. Then somebody will come and say, huyu ni mzoefu wa kazi, huyu kwanza anado, Kigame anado kweli, That's how the middle class reasons.
Okay.
Now, unless we change that, we are not going to actually have a new Kenya.
Mtumishi,
Yes.
they say it always looks easy to run the government when you're outside, but once you get in, things become quite hard. And we had a guest here who talked about the issue of systems that are in a country, and how sometimes it is usually hard. You think that and once you get inside there, you realize that nothing. I want you to maybe to tell Kenyans, like, how would you be able to ensure that it's not just like any other president who has promised, once I get in there, this is what I'm going to do. But once they get in there, they find that systems are quite different, the value systems that you're talking about.
Yeah. That's a good question. So I want you to look at a country the way you look at any institution. So look at government the way you look at a home, a production company, or an organization. So a country or a nation is an organism. Now, I cannot tell you that it is easy to run a country. It is very difficult, actually. So nobody in their right mind would imagine, I can just go in there and fix. In fact, if you asked me, one of the hardest things to fix is a country, because you're dealing with so many people, so many institutions, so many policies. But these are already established. Okay, so for Kenya, for example, we have a constitution that gives us the software of how to run a country. Then we have all these institutions and departments and so on. So what you do if you're going to bring real change is, first of all, look at what would it take for that system to actually run. And then what are the problems that you've got to deal with, if you are given a chance to actually undo whatever is going wrong. So for me as a person, the first thing I would do is ensure that I don't begin to change Kenya when I am sworn in. I begin to prepare to change Kenya now. And so the way I do my campaign, the way I talk about policies, the way I look at, issues that affect us as a people, the way I look at you, will shape my policies and will shape who I am as a president. So you can already guess what kind of President Kigame would be by looking at me now.
All right. So, Reuben, there's this whole issue of, if you want to be a leader, show me what you have done before in terms of leadership, so that we can, consider you for that particular position. Some of these very many aspirants that we're seeing right now have been in key either political offices or key executive government offices. For instance, we've had CS Matiang'i was in the executive. Maraga was in the judiciary, and many others. So maybe someone would say, why doesn't Reuben go for us let's say, I don't know, senator maybe, or governor, or MP, or MCA? Then we see how he governs from that position.
Good.
Then now we can consider him for the presidency.
So that question is so good, but it's only 50%.
All right.
You've only asked 50% of the question.
Let's make it 100.
So you're asking what I have done
in terms of national leadership.
So you're only you're looking at what I have done.
Yes.
You also need to look at what I have not done.
All right.
Then the question will be complete.
Okay.
Because Kenyans always look at what somebody has done. We also need to look at what has that person not done, because that is where the software fails.
Okay.
So what I have done, because nobody can do anything outside their purview. So you can't expect me to have been a governor or a senator or an MP when I was busy running a radio station. Okay? So if you asked me, what have you done for this country? I have contributed immensely to the information sector.
All right.
I worked not only with Radio Citizen, Family Radio, helped to start Hope FM, and so on, but I established and ran my own Fish FM for 10 years as a manager, managing director, but also as a founder. You see, that's a difference.
Yes.
That I set it up, hired people, put all the technology in place, ran it, mentored a lot of students from around the country in communications and so on. That I did successfully.
Okay.
And I only shut it down to start the journey I'm on now. So I've been in radio. I'm a radio guy. I could set this station up for you and expand it if you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. Without any hassle.
Effortlessly.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the second thing I've done is that I have been developing artists. As a musician myself, I have been mentoring a lot of young people in the area of the arts and theater.
Right.
So, and that I began when I was a teenager, growing up, but my active time begins, 1987 to the present. Personally, I've recorded maybe 30 different albums, but I've also produced music for other people in this country and beyond. Okay? So I am a seasoned artist and continuing to mentor especially young people.
Okay.
That continues. Another thing is I'm a teacher by training. I've taught in high schools. I currently teach at the university.
Yes.
If you give me any class, in research or philosophy or history or media and communications, I will teach. And I have done that, consistently from when I graduated in 1990. Taught in Kiambu, taught in Western Kenya. I'm teaching now in Nairobi. So I'm a seasoned teacher.
Right.
But I'm also a justice advocate. So with Linda Katiba movement, you remember the BBI issues and so on.
Yes.
And I could go into all the activism for persons living with disability, for women that are facing issues of femicide and so on. Yesterday, I was actually at the Kahawa Law Courts on this case of the young people, 18, 20-year-olds accused of terrorism. So I was there in solidarity, but also got a chance to talk and say to the judge, please consider, lower bail that could get them out of so you could call me an activist.
Okay.
I've also run a restaurant and so on, but I want you to put all of that against one thing. I am blind.
Okay.
No, let's say you need so if as a blind person,
yes, you can achieve all that.
Given those opportunities, I could excel that way. Let me tell you, you would see wonders.
Okay.
But I would like to say that in 2013, of course, I ran for governor in Vihiga County, where I come from. And came 4th out of 6.
Okay.
Honorably lost. I was going to run in 2017. My friend was running in Vihiga, so I put my weight behind him.
Okay.
And postponed my bid because I wanted to prepare for running the country. And given my traveling, given my education, given my knowledge of the people of Kenya, because I live with them, especially young people, I do believe I've got answers for this country.
All right.
Mtumishi, you said you don't want to be called
Mheshimiwa.
Mtumishi. So I want you to comment something about the press freedom in our country.
First of all, are you convinced that the whole issue of making a leader in Kenya has got to do with do's, but you also need to look at don'ts.
That is fair
so
enough.
We only looked at the do's. Now, what the don'ts, because you have to complete the 100%.
Yes.
I've not stolen anybody's thing. Okay? That is critical. I've not gone around telling lies. Okay? What you see is what you get.
Do you have any court cases ongoing against you where people have accused you of crimes against them?
No, not crimes.
Yes.
I have a case in the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Raised by the IEBC. I took them to court because they excluded me from the ballot. Justice Murima said that, I should be included on the ballot. And imagine Chebukati and his team goes to the Court of Appeal to stay that. So that case has never been concluded.
All right.
I do also have a case in court now, not against me, pushing a case against the government introducing what you call the blank tape levy for musicians. Okay, and also enjoined in another case against MCSK and other CMOs that are stealing from musicians. And I'm about to file another case against the violence that is being meted against citizens.
So currently hakuna mtu amekushtaki kotini.
Kama unajua hebu itoe. That's why I want Kenyans to also look at what someone has not done.
Yes,
because
that was
if you
part
just
of the
look
question now.
Yeah.
All right, so you can continue. So you're saying haujabia mtu yoyote, you've not stolen anybody's coin. So you're giving us a list of the
I'm not an angel, and I don't think we're dealing with angels here.
Yes.
But there are people who should never be in government.
Okay.
Because we know mashamba ya watu yameenda. mifugo ya watu imeenda, pesa za watu zimeenda. We know people who have told lies, tutawafanyia hivi, even those who are in government, tutajengea barabara, tutafanyia nini. All those liars should never be in government. Okay. Yes.
So you are to comment something about now the press freedom,
Yes.
Especially with regards to what is happening in our country right now as a media consultant and also as a journalist. And again, say something about the approach that the Gen Zs have used to try to push for the accountability of the administration.
Let me begin with the latter, because you see the Gen Z world is not the world we grew in. The information and technological advancements right now are at an all-time high. So the Gen Zs are very well informed. That is so different from the politics of the past. And the sad thing, maybe just a commentary on that, it would be that the average government, the average person in government now imagines that Gen Zs are naive, these people who don't know. They actually know much more in terms of information. And it's part of the reason why the government is not responding right is that imagination, hao ni watoto, hawajui kitu, And so the decisions are made with that in mind. That will make government go wrong every time. Okay. Now, so for media freedoms, first of all, let me make the comment that I am a very sad person when it comes to seeing how government approaches media freedom and the freedom of expression. You see, these are things we fought for so hard in the multi-party era, the second liberation, we call it.
Right.
So, by the way, hata kufungua radio generation, hamungefungua. Because the government believed you should have only one broadcaster, VOK, KBC. But so the liberalization happened in the 90s and so on. By the way, my entire master's dissertation is on this. So when you look at what happened, the gains that we made and how the government is using like the communications authority, yani unaweza tu kuamua unaenda kufunga stationi. It is terrible, but the most important thing is it's unconstitutional. Kwa sababu ukiangalia article 32 kwa mfano inakupa freedom of belief, opinion, unaona, and conscience, unaona. Hiyo inakupa. Ukikuja article 33 unapata freedom of expression hapo, freedom of the media 34 mpaka 35. So hizi articles zote zimepeana uhuru wa kujieleza, wa kuassociate, kujiexpress, all of this.
Yes.
So you cannot just take it away without changing the constitution. So that's one. But another thing is it is only with freedom of expression that even the government can express itself. So you see, kama kuna mtu ana dhana tofauti, atakuja kwa media. Kama government in a different opinion, it should come to the media.
Yes.
So media is neutral. Media is supposed to be neutral.
Yes.
And it should be able to give everybody a chance. So if the government and the Gen Zs are at loggerheads, it's only the media that can bring that out.
All right.
Now, if you muzzle the media, then you begin to go the way of dictatorship. And that has never worked. By the way, it can never work in the current world because there will be a lot of alternative media.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you shut down radio generations or you shut down KTN or NTV, you have done nothing actually, because there is still access to information. So you would have to shut down the internet. Now, if you shut down the internet, I can tell you young people will find another way of communicating because they're technologically advanced. In fact, these young people can actually get into your system.
Yes.
You think you have all these passwords and so on. They have gone to school. They know how to hack. They can get into any system, whether in Congo or Tanzania or Uganda. They can even get into your bank account if
They wanted.
Yes. So, and that is a warning I'm giving to anyone in government that believes
Yes.
that they can just, muzzle young people, because of media. Wanaweza ingia hata website ya State House ama Parliament
And cripple it.
na kubadilisha the information there. True. Yeah.
And they have done it before. So, Mutumishi, there's this other issue of political parties and not just the parties but presidential candidates and their funding. I don't know how you raised funds for your own campaign, but we've seen in the past, even not Azimio, but ODM at one point had a pay bill number where they were asking citizens, to wasaidie kuwachangia. We are seeing right now presidential candidate Maraga saying that his campaign is going to be Wanjiko funded. Because you've been there and you're the first presidential candidate we are hosting on this show. Maybe you can
thank you.
Yes, maybe we know you have what are they called, merchandise that you
Yes.
want to print, also posters that you have to put up, banners, fueling of vehicles. But where else does this money go to during campaigns?
That's a very good question. In fact, let me put it this way. If you can find out where somebody's funding is coming from,
Right.
then you can tell whether that candidate is capable of not just winning but also stealing
Okay.
an election. Every time you see what I would call robust activity, just so much movement and so much, pomp and so on, ask this: where has the money come to fund all of that? Because if you follow the money, you'll have your answers.
Okay.
Now, if as Reuben Kigame nimekuja hapa and this is how I'm living, you can even gauge, that this guy maybe doesn't have the billions.
Okay.
Hata we mwenyewe unaweza maybe kuestimate tu.
All right.
Now, then all of a sudden ukiniita interview nyingine, nimekuja hapa na magari kama 7 na bodyguards kama, and now I'm splashing money everywhere.
Yes.
You've got to ask, hiyo pesa imetoka wapi? If we follow the money, this is my statement.
Right.
If we follow the money, we may actually get the right leaders.
Okay.
Because how much money somebody utilizes in a campaign will tell you whether you are going to get a good leader or a leader that bought you.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example of an incident I saw in Vihiga County a couple months ago, early April, I think it was.
Right.
There's a young man who came to one of the meetings where I was. And this guy, was bulgy, if you know what I mean.
All right.
Pesa huku,
Zimefichwa kwa kila mali kwa koti.
hata kwa socks, everywhere, And we are busy at a funeral, so we're listening in to the speeches and so on. This guy seated next to us is busy dishing out money at a funeral.
Okay.
And telling people, ningojeni hapo nje, nitakuja kwa, and then he's given the mic and he says, pesa si shida kwangu, and you're looking at this maybe 30-year-old. I've been teaching, I've been in the music industry, I've been in media. I don't live that kind of. So where has this money all of a sudden come from? Now tell me, if you elected such a person who does not know how to address policy, but is ready to tell you pangeni laini hapo, you will not get the right leader. You will get somebody who buys you. And if he buys you,
Yes.
then he'll come back for his money. Now, so for me, of course, my 2022 campaign
Yes.
was funded by my friends. And before before I was locked out by the IEBC, we were doing only what the money that we had could do. And that is, travel, hold press conferences, travel to different places and meet the people. Okay. So sit down with teachers, sit down with persons living with disability, and sasa hizo pesa tunatumika kununua chai, kwa mfano tukikaa kwenye hoteli fulani, or like you said, printing of t-shirts. We had some t-shirts printed,
right,
and posters and so on. So it's what people contribute that did that. And my friends were very kind to me. They believed, quite a number of people who believed in my candidature,
yes,
helped fund that.
All right.
I wouldn't call it a lot, but I don't think I spent like more than 6 or 7 million.
Really?
Yes.
Do you remember how much was collected in total? Or it is that 6 or 7 million?
No, I also had an input because, I've been working on my music. And,
so you had your own
gigs.
savings.
So I had maybe just above $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah. That was saved. But a lot of the contributions, maybe about 5 or 6 million, came from my friends.
From your friends. All right.
Then I had court cases. And sometimes, contributions don't come in terms of cash. There are people who lent me their cars. Unaweza tumia, sichukui si yangu.
But tumia for this campaign.
For this campaign. Some people gave me office space, to organize my resources and so on.
Okay.
And then there are people who gave my team a place to stay when we would go into a particular place. Those, if you quantified it, would be quite a lot of money, by the way.
All right.
And then, there are people who volunteered. I didn't pay them. They said they believe in what I'm doing. So they'll give me maybe 2 months, We had people like that.
All right.
So if you quantified it, would be a lot of money.
All
but
right.
So campaign resources are, of different values. Yeah.
Mutumishi, do you believe it is too early to start campaigns?
That's a difficult question.
Because we are seeing it already. The government is campaigning for its
Every
second
other
term.
person.
I'm saying it's a complex question because let me address 3 aspects. So let me begin with myself.
Okay.
You see, I was a presidential aspirant. I didn't make it to candidature.
All right.
In 2022. They blocked me 2 months before. But as soon as President Ruto came into office, I was probably the first critic of what he was doing. Because, of course, I was following up his manifesto.
Yes.
And following up what he promised and so on. So when he would fail, I would say he's failing. Because that's my role as a citizen, but also as an aspirant.
Okay.
So unlike other candidates that maybe are emerging now, I've been continuing to speak. If you go to social media, just type Reuben Kigame. You'll have a lot of data. Of course, mainstream media has sort of believed that I don't belong. So they don't give... You'll never see like a front page article or whatever on Reuben Kigame.
Right.
Because they believe in the 2-horse race. That's mainstream media for you. But I've never stopped. In fact, I got to a point I was so exhausted because I just kept going. So I had to take a break. And then I was studying. So I took a bit of a back seat and went for my research and traveled a bit. So if you were to look at your question one way, then I never stopped campaigning. Yeah. So I keep going. But I'm just about to activate the what I would call the main campaign journey from next month, God willing. So the main declaration is coming. So that will be 2 years before the appointed election of 2027.
Okay.
And I think 2 years to get the people of Kenya to hear your message is sufficient. Now, the second part, but at the end of the day, maybe 2 years before or 1.5 years before the next election, if those in government began to prepare to win another mandate, it's not a problem. Now, the challenge with government campaigning and everybody else campaigning for 5 years is that Kenya becomes so concentrated on politics than governance itself, than delivery. In fact, my worry is that Africa is so obsessed with politicization that we don't talk policy much. We don't talk delivery. We don't talk innovation. We don't talk investment. We don't talk issues of education much. So as a result, media is full of politics because that's what sells. That's what people are sort of wired to. Now, we've got to start undoing that so that we also become a working nation, so that we become, people who deliver, that we talk, what are these issues in the education system? We have something like CBE.
Yeah.
Just converted from CBC. So many unanswered questions. So the politics takes center stage, and media does not interrogate, for example, the challenges with the system of education. That should be the norm. Now, so the third issue about your question is that Kenyans, because of the nature of who we are,
Right.
Are so gullible because we live in that political space like 5 years in a row, from election to election. So the only thing Kenyans think about is politics. And to the point where it's very easy for somebody to come up and fool Kenyans, because all you need is money and rhetoric.
Okay.
Yeah, not character. So, for example, if you watch what happened last year, October, you had Okiya Mtata declare. Okay, he put up his presidential exploration team, and Kenya goes, yeah, this is the right guy. He's a good guy, the best guy. Would unseat this guy. A couple months after, you hear Morara is on the scene. Oh yeah, he's young, he's dynamic. Then came Matiang'i. Oh yeah. He was in government. Let's have this guy. All social media.
Are you saying that we like everyone?
Wait. So that's how Kenyans behave.
Yes.
Now, former Chief Justice Maraga has come on, and now all my friends on social media say, yeah, this is the guy. Okay. So what we fail to do is to interrogate. But you interrogate by not by responding to everyone that comes. You talk about what you want. Yeah. And that's what Kenyans should be talking about. Tunataka nini, tunataka mtu aina gani, so that it doesn't matter who comes, okay?
Yes.
So for example, we should be spending a lot of our energies asking, what are the bare minimums an MCA, an MP, a women rep, governor should have, a president.
Okay.
Yani, what are those things tusipoona kwa huyu mtu asichaguliwe? And also, what are the things that we don't want to see?
Okay.
Yeah. If we dwell on that, in fact, I think we can fix this country.
Mtumishi,
No.
a dialogue for a solution to what is happening in our country, intergenerational dialogue, to sort these problems that we are seeing, and for peace in our country. What is your take?
You push him to.
Why?
It's just nonsense. Because it's not like Kenya doesn't know what should happen. Yeah. So talk about what? We sit down, intergenerational, broad-based, talk. We exactly know what we need. And the young people are straight, clear.
On what they want.
Yes, not what they want, what we as a people want.
Okay.
Even you, even me, all of us are agreed that Kenya would be better if we had people who tell the truth. We're all agreed that Kenya would be better if we had people who would follow up where our debt money went.
Okay.
That Kenya would be better with lower taxes. That Kenya would be better with, Article 10, with Chapter 6 of the Constitution being... We know. What is lacking is implementation, the will to implement. And that is what we are demanding. So we don't need dialogue. We need implementation.
Yeah.
We all know, everywhere you go, you know that I don't call it corruption. I call it theft. We know that theft of our coffers is a problem. But that is not at center stage. We're not dealing with it. Everybody says nikiingia serikalini nitadeal na corruption. That's what they call it. Get into office and you never talk about it. You don't deal with it. Unaziona ndio hizi, ndio hao wameiba. Na unaparticipate hata wewe kuiba. So, when you see... let me just give you an example of the Ndabibi farm in Naivasha.
Right.
So people have bought land, they've lived there, and then somebody comes and takes that land. Okay? And life goes on. It's like nothing happened.
Okay.
So Kenyans need to demand implementation of the Constitution, of principles of governance. If you are called into a particular office,
yes,
you are expected to deliver in that office. So if you are not delivering, you just leave. Get out.
It's as simple as that.
Yes.
All right. Mtumishi, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. 1 hour is done.
It is done.
It's now literally 40 seconds to the top of the hour. But thank you so much for making time.
No. The joy is mine. Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Yes.
I hope that people follow these conversations, not just on your channels and
Yes.
so on, but they can follow me on social media.
Right.
And let's have the conversations.
We invite you here, actually. We invite you back to come and elaborate on some of these national issues.
Yes.
And pick your brain, of course, on matters to do with governance.
Yes, let's spend some time on that. And maybe when I have launched officially,
Yes.
now we can talk about
Karibu
my
sana.
agenda.
Come and sell your manifesto here.
Thank you
We'd
so
like
much,
to
sir.
hear alternatives.
Asante
All
sana.
right, so this is where we come to a close. It's Thursday. See you tomorrow bright and early. Friday. Suseme kwa heri.
Yeah, hasta luego.
All right, see you tomorrow, guys.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
It's 10 o'clock.